Hi, this is Sana Farzeen and welcome to India Today, and I have with me the very beautiful Malavika Mohanan. How are you feeling, Malavika?
Hi, I'm good. It's a very rainy day here in Bombay, so we were just discussing that.
And everyone's just enjoying Yudhra, and especially your performance, your action. Tell me, how's the response been for you?
Well, a lot of my friends have loved the action. They love that I was doing action, and they're very excited about that. So all my girlfriends are like, more power, why should boys have all the fun? So they're excited about that. But it's been really good. I've had a crazy 2 months because I've been promoting 2 movies and I've been shooting for 2 other films. So I'm on like a 1 week lag. So to process anything, it's taking me a few days because I've been so sleep deprived and so on the go that I think after a week I'll be able to tell you a lot better how I'm feeling about the whole thing.
But tell me, what do you remember from Yudhra shoot? It must have been an extensive one. There's so many locations, so much action, so much drama. What do you remember?
We started the shoot in Portugal, and this was post the 2 lockdowns. So it was like a much needed breather, much needed change of space, air for all of us. And because it's a very young, fresh cast, there's apart from Siddhant, there's also Raghav Joyal, who's also so much fun. And because there's no hierarchy, there's no, nobody's a senior, there's no sir business happening. So it was like a group of friends, and we had a great time. And because we started with an outdoor schedule, we bonded really well, and that bonding really followed through the rest of the filming.
And tell me, Malavika, for me, I think 2 of the very scenes that kind of stayed with me. One was the where you give the electric shock to Shilpa's character, and second, the music store action scenes. Both interestingly features you. It's around you.
Exactly how I would like it.
But tell me, which is your favorite scene from the film?
Both the scenes you just mentioned.
We have similar choices.
I love the music store sequence as well because I think it's also very there are some moments which are quite the music store sequence. Also, it had nice moments where I killed this one guy with a flute, and when he's choking, you can hear that flute sound coming out. So it had these interesting. I thought that was a very nicely done sequence. Also, it helps that I was a part of it. And I thought even Raghav was fantastic in the sequence, everybody. I like that one. I like even the blow dryer blow dryer pani mein dalna wala thing because it's an interesting way. I didn't even know you could kill somebody like that. So I made a mental note. I was not like it'll ever come in handy, but this is...
I was also science gets full marks on this.
Yeah, I know, right? I was smart Nikhat.
After Yudhra, do you want to do a full-fledged action?
Oh, I would love to. I would love to do one of my all-time favorites is, when I'm feeling out and about, or when I'm feeling if I've had a bad day or if I'm upset at somebody and I want to take out that khudness, that anger. I can't take it out on the person, but I just need a catharsis for it. I watch Kill Bill.
Wow.
And it just gets channeled in this way where I get inspired. I'm like, wow, what a film, what a role, and my anger is all subsided. Yeah. So I would love to do a film like Kill Bill, an out-and-out action flick.
Do you ever imagine what would have happened if you were not there on set with Mammootty that day when he kind of saw that you had something in you that you could be an actor?
I don't know. So just to give you all context, what she's referring to is my first film was offered to me. So Mammootty, the iconic actor, Malayali actor, I would call him an Indian actor.
Yeah.
They were casting for a film opposite his son Dulquer Salman for a love story, and they were looking for a girl. So it was a very Shadi Ka Rishta kind of situation ki, he saw me and he was like, oh, she'll be good for my son, except that it was for a movie. And Malayalam movies mein for a long time aise hi hota tha. Casting, no, it used to be very Shadi Rishta kind of a thing. Ki, acha, wo wali ladki hai na, wo aapki, so and so, she's good. Maybe we can think about her for this. This whole process of auditions and casting and all is much more in the recent years. So that's how that offer came my way. That's how my first film fell into my lap. And then after I did that, I was like, hey, this is fun. Now let me start hustling, and you can't wait for things to just come your way. But what was your question about Mammootty?
What would have happened? Have you ever imagined?
If not that, I don't know.
If you hadn't seen it.
I don't know. I was studying media, so I was, I don't know. It's a good thing I don't have to think about it.
But someone else would have definitely noticed you, Malvika, given the kind of person that you are, the kind of personality you have.
Even in school and all, I never participated in performing arts or dance or drama. In fact, I used to enjoy, I was an athlete and I was a sprint runner. So I used to enjoy, I used to win the best athlete every year. Best athlete under 12, under 14, under 16. So every year I've consecutively won that. So which is why even now when I'm doing stunts and all, the physicality of things comes very easily to me because of that background. Who knows, maybe I would have also been an athlete.
Multi-talented. Yes, we would have been doing an interview for you for Olympics maybe. Also, but when you picked up Beyond the Clouds, tell me, it was a role so different. You were playing a sister. Like, how did you make that decision to make your Hindi film debut with that film?
So it was, I think the number one thing I look at is that like the maker should be good. And as an aspiring actor, or when you're trying to like get your first film, second film, it's very like you don't easily get good makers. The makers go to like the already existing actors. So वो काफी rarely वो एक opening आती है. So when Majid Majidi, who was one of my favorite, who is and at that point like was one of my favorite filmmakers. I had watched his films, Baran, Colors of Paradise, like all of these Children of Heaven while growing up. So when I heard he was making a film in India, it just, I was like blown away. And then when I got cast, it was like a pinch me moment. I couldn't believe it. And he was, he's such a good and such a, like he's an Oscar nominated director, such a renowned director. That was a no-brainer. And I don't think characters like brother, sister, like I don't think that matters. Like those things don't matter anymore. Like Alia Bhatt is doing she's doing Jigra, where it's a brother-sister story. I think it's a story that matters. Story, script, maker. Those are the only things.
I think somewhere that apprehension comes in, but great that it didn't.
No, then after that I did go on to work with, like, do very quintessentially heroine roles opposite, like, very, very big heroes in Tamil and, multiple industries. So I feel like you can't have so many hang-ups, You just have to keep working.
This was actually my next question. Tell me, Malavika, you've done, like, name any top actor from South, be Dulquer, Vikram, I think Dhanush. You've done films with everyone, even Vijay Sethupathi. Like, how do you deal with that? Because the kind of craze that these male superstars have, when you take up a project, like, do you look at the way your character is being shaped, or you know that this film will definitely go and reach a certain kind of an audience?
Now I've reached a phase where I want well-written characters, like a well-written role for me, Because even if it's like, no matter how big the actor is, the announcement gets a certain buzz, The moment you sign, it'll be like, oh. But I always call it borrowed stardom. If you act in a big hero film, which is great, right? Because what does it signify? It signifies that the moment it's a very big actor, it'll already have like an audience. And that's the hardest thing to do nowadays, to pull people into theatre. So if you have that, great. Lekin agar aapka role acha na ho, if you don't have a meaty part, then you'll be forgot. The moment people walk out of the theatre, they won't remember you. So you'll get that initial flurry of messages and this whole social media buzz, but it'll never stay. The only thing that stays in the long run, I've realized, is memorable roles, memorable characters, well-written characters in good films. Women we love, like be it Sridevi, be it Madhuri Dixit, be it Rekha Ji, we remember them, their looks, their personality, everything else is secondary, but we remember them for their roles. We think of a Chalbaz, we think of a Hum Aapke Kaun, we think of a, Piku, and we remember the roles. So the wish and the aim, and I say wish more than aim because it's everything is so constantly moving in our industry that you can't really aim for it. It has to, it's timing, it's luck. It also has to come your way. But my wish would be to get good female roles.
But as a young actor, like, with the kind of offer that comes to you, Malvika, do you see that change happening? Because earlier women were treated in a certain way where there's just specific, just as we were talking about, just heroines out there, maybe arm candy or just dance and song. Are you seeing that change, that there were written parts now for women?
See, but that's always been that Vaise Wali films have always been there, and there have been the well-written parts also. Like the examples I told you right now, they are actresses from the 80s, 90s, even before that, who have done such memorable roles. And then there are films simultaneously whether, so I think it's about choices, it's about what's coming your way. combination of so many things. But I think now I want to like, deliberately like play better written roles, well written roles.
What would be like 3 of your maybe dream roles? If you can pick?
I would love to play a gangster. Yeah, I feel it's very interesting to break the thing, like, because something we mostly see men doing. The moment you break it, you place a woman in that same equation, it becomes very interesting, right? I would love to do that. I would love to play a warrior princess, a queen. Yeah. I've never done that before. I know multiple other people have. Right. I haven't. So, and I want to dress up like that. I want to play like a strong, I would love to do that. And third, I want to do a love story. Yeah. It's been a very long time. I want to do the slow motion turn and the, someone to present me beautifully and like a very quintessential love story. Yeah.
And of course, you have a horror comedy up next, the Raja Saab. Tell me any update that you can share with us.
So Raja Saab is a film I'm doing. It's my Telugu debut. I waited for the right time, right film to enter the Telugu industry with, because it's such a big industry now. I wanted to like foray into it with the right project, and nothing gets bigger than Prabhas at the moment. So it's with him. It's a horror comedy. It's also like a rom-com space. It's a fun film. It's a very easy, light-hearted movie. It's coming out in April. We're still shooting for it. I begin again next week. Right. So I'm looking forward to like that one coming out. It's an exciting one.
And of course, it would be unfair if I don't ask you about this, Malavika, because you work down south. Of course, everyone's talking about the safety of women. Tell me, as a young actor out there who's also has a voice, and there are young girls looking up to you, tell me, what is the kind of message you want to send?
I think it's such a layered, thing, right? Like, there's no one right or wrong answer to it. It's not black or white. It's such a gray area. So much of our conditioning, the way we think, the way society thinks, like patriarchy, like so much has to change at a grassroots level. But talking about a workspace, I think to have to be accountable for, like, if women are, in a lot of cases what I see, like if I had to point out at one thing, if a woman's saying something, sometimes it's not taken seriously. Yes. If she says I was harassed or something, like, no, maybe you misinterpreted it like that. Maybe he didn't actually mean it, you know. So to begin with, like, hear her out, and we know what we are saying. So we're saying it for a reason, right? Yeah. So to start with, there are so many things, but to start with, just hear women out.
Because, Malavika, of course, you've attained a certain place in the society. Maybe you're privileged enough that something may not, like this may not happen to you, that maybe people would feel threatened to even do something like that to you. But when it comes to people who are women working with you, do you take certain measures to make them feel safe on set?
I have my team that works with me, my hair and makeup, most of whom sometimes are women. And when you're working in obscure locations, or, like as a team, we're always in touch with, like, have you, or if you're traveling late, have you reached, like, accountability for each other, basic safety for each other, making sure that, all the, like, it's a safe car, it's a good hotel, like those kind of things, yes. But these are basics. Like, I wouldn't even mention it because this is something we all should do, right? But beyond this, when you see ridiculous things happening, you feel so helpless, because you're like, how can we just, figure out a way to, like, end this once and for all? So it's a very helpless feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think when a report like this comes out, it's a great thing? Does it bring about a change, or do you sometimes feel that you just become pessimist, that it's just a phase, it will just come and go? These conversations, especially.
It's a good thing if it's spoken about, because there are, like, it's a problem in places where it's happening and still not spoken about. Yeah. So being spoken about means that at least next time people will think twice before, at least they'll have that second thought, which might have not been there in the first place. So it's a great thing that it's being spoken about.
And lastly, I wanted to ask you, recently we saw, of course, we are all talking about the toxic work culture in corporates. But we don't realize that film industry has that we only look at the glamorous side, but the kind of hard work, the kind of long hours that goes through. Malavika, how important does it become for you as a young person to kind of maintain work and personal life balance, and how do you kind of manage that? Because there must be days when you're just shooting non-stop for I don't know how many hours.
So balance what? Manage
Your work and personal life. Like, does it get difficult for you to maintain?
Of course it gets tough. I keep telling people, can we just like shoot for 8 hours a day and just 5 days a week? Like that would be my ideal. I was just telling somebody that, how in Norway, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a few of these Scandinavian countries, they've actually reduced the number of working days and the number of working hours, and they've seen an increase in productivity. Yeah. Which I can totally see, like after 8 hours, my brain doesn't work anymore. So then the remaining 4-5 hours is like a drag. It's just like, kab khatam hoga. Right. So working lesser hours, your brain is fresher. And as artists, you're just like creating better art if you're working lesser. So totally, I wish the hours were more. I hope somebody, I don't know who, but I hope somebody brings about this change of, a little more balance.
But what do you do to kind of create that balance?
I don't know what to do, yeah. See, I'm happy I'm getting movies right now, okay? So I am like, now I can't be, and I'm a newer actor, no? I can't go and tell them, nahi, aap na 12 ghante mere saath mat karo, 8 ghante. I'm not in a position to say that right now. But I have heard of senior actors who say they won't shoot for more than 8 hours because they like, we have to go back to our family, we have to spend time with our family. And I'm like, that's great. I think I need to work with these actors. Till I am a senior actor, I want to work with these actors, taki I can also work the amount of hours they work.
But you sometimes just...
unsustainable, yeah. You don't get any me time, you don't get any personal time, and we're not put here on this planet to just work and die. We need, hustle culture is very overrated. See, it's good to hustle, okay? It's important to hustle in the right ways, but that doesn't mean you burn out or you burn your body out where you're having health issues, where you don't spend time with your family for 10 years because you're so busy hustling, and then suddenly you don't have family anymore and you're like, oh shit, So hustle is a very wide term. I don't blindly adhere to just hustling all the time. You have to do it smartly.
I think for actors, we only see maybe it's a 16-hour shift for you, but maybe you're shooting just 6 hours. The 10 hours is getting wasted maybe on setup and things like that. How do you kind of use that time? And tell me about those waiting hours that's there on set, Malavika. Does that get frustrating?
It's a running joke amongst the actors that acting, the thing you require most to be an actor is patience. Okay. Because you're either, if you think about it, either you're patiently waiting to get your break at the beginning of your journey. And that is if you get a break, okay? But patiently waiting. Then you're patiently waiting for more offers to come your way. Once you have offers, once you're on set, you're waiting for your shot. And then after your first shot, you're waiting again for... So it's more waiting than anything else. So it's something that requires so much of patience. It requires a lot of control over your own mind and feelings, and habits. Like now I just like read. So in between shots, once I know I'm in character, once I've kind of cracked the character, otherwise I'm cracking the character in between. I'm like, maybe I can do this, do that. But once I've cracked the character, I'm reading in between. I'm kind of like feeding my brain ko kuch kaam do, give it some work. Otherwise it's so much time, like you rightfully said, it's so much of time. It's a lot of waiting. That's also why your team becomes so important to you. Because they become like your family, you're spending the entire day with your team. So that's why, like, your makeup artist, your hairstylist, like they almost become like family at the end of the day.